Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back. This video is going to be all about getting really nice color on your videos really easily. So a few videos back, I did something on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and some very nice people jumped into the comments and were very kind about the color that I was able to get out of it in my videos, and asked me how I did it and was there an easy way to do that. And you'll be happy to know, yes there is. I'm going to cover that in this video. Now typically when I'm working on a project, I, just because of habit and just because I've been doing it for years since I worked for Apple, I work a lot in Final Cut Pro. I also work in a little bit in DaVinci Resolve when I need to, a little bit in Premiere, really when a client needs me to work in that. I hate Premiere and the whole Adobe ecosystem for many different reasons, mostly due to their very predatory pricing. So when somebody asked me, is there an easy way to do this on mobile, I was very happy to be able to share that yes, there is. Now this can be quite tough. When you Google this, when you look this up, a lot of people will say, nah, there's not really many good apps that do this. And there is really one, I think, that doesn't charge you to upgrade to do this. And it is the VN app on both iPhone and Android and Mac and PC as well. Although I'm going to be talking about the mobile versions on phones today. Plug for my wife's book. That's the promotional case for it. Anyway, I'll put that down there at the end. Yes, there is this very easy app where you can apply these LUTs, which I use to get my basic looks for all my videos, to your videos. To use these LUTs, to get this look, if you're shooting on something like the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, or if you're shooting on something like an iPhone that shoots in Apple Log, then what you're going to need to do to be able to apply these LUTs to your videos is use the log profiles. Log is basically this really flat profile, a really flat color mode, which makes everything look kind of gray when you film with it. But what it's actually doing is giving you this really low contrast mode that then you can go and put your own colors on. Or if you're using a LUT, a lookup table, which tells your video editing software what colors to use. If you're using one of these that you've downloaded or bought from an influencer or something like that, then it uses that flat color profile to then put that color onto. I'm not going to go too in depth. That's all you really need to know. It's like a really advanced version of a filter, which is much better for your footage and doesn't mean you lose any detail and you don't lose detail in your highlights, the brighter parts or the darker parts of the image, the shadows or anything like that. I'm not going to go too much into an in-depth technical discussion of what a LUT is. This will be very similar in lots of different video editing software, and you will probably find that after I've shown you how to do this on mobile, you'll actually be quite confident doing this on desktop as well. Hey, real quick interruption, it's Future Nick with a haircut. You'll notice my hair length does seem to jump a little bit in this video. I had a haircut halfway through, which wasn't smart for continuity, but hey, it's not a narrative film. If you do enjoy this video and you do enjoy some of the work I do, one of the other biggest questions I constantly get asked about, which I am going to be making some videos on to be fair, but one of the other biggest questions I get asked about is presenting skills and how you can get better on camera and how you can talk with passion to the camera if you're not that confident. Or, by the same token, because I do a lot of public speaking, I get asked about delivering speeches in public and how you can be more confident with that as well. If you head over to my website, there's a link in the description down below if you're on YouTube, then I have opened up this service on my website for the first time to non-corporate customers outside of the video agency that I work with. So if you are interested in getting any kind of coaching or even more creative support with ideas and video support and all sorts of other things that I'm offering, head over to my website and have a look. The link is down there, and now let's head back to the tutorial. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you how I do this. I've got the VN app right here. This is the icon, just so you can see it. I'll open that up, and here it is. It shows you all your project stuff and everything here. I'm going to hit plus to create a new project. It gives you all this stuff. There's actually quite a lot. All you need to do is hit new project right there. Say video-based. You can do a music-based. I'm going to say do not ask me again. I don't think I'm going to be doing much in the way of match cut edits to pieces of music. Okay, so here we go. I prepared a few clips. I just transferred them across from the DJI Mimo app, so I had them ready to go. I've got one from an event I shot at recently, one where I was doing some book promo stuff with my wife Amy, whose new book's about to come out, and here's just a test shot I did of myself in this environment I'm in right now as well. These are all shot in D-Log-M. I'll hit that arrow there to be able to bring those in. So D-Log-M just is the log profile on a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So we've got all of those in the app right here. You can see D-Log-M, it's not the flattest color profile compared to what I showed you on the Sony before, but these are still fairly flat in comparison. And then what I can do from here is I just need to load in the LUT. Now there's lots of options. This is a fully fledged video editor. This is my video track, the audio track underneath it. I can add music and text and all sorts of other things. For the purposes of this, for applying color to something, I'm not gonna go too far into those. These plus buttons here as well allow you to add transitions if you wanna do that. Again, that's something for a longer tutorial because we're talking about color here. So we've got a whole bunch of options down at the bottom here. It can be quite, at first when I used this, it wasn't obvious where I might find these, but if we hit filter right there, what we can do is choose from any one of these built-in filters to see how that filters the log profiles. And to be fair, it actually did quite a good job with some of these. If I just can, well, that's too much. See, like it really brings the color back. I could bring that in and let's see, bring the intensity down, and that actually adds a decent amount of color. But if you want to add a specific look or a specific LUT, then you've probably already spotted the option. I'm gonna hit X to not do that, hit the filter button again, and hit add. And this is where I can either connect to Wi-Fi, I don't even know what I do there, to bring something across, presumably from another device with this app on it. It can be airdropped from somewhere else, or I can hit the file app right here. I'm going to type in Osmo, because the Osmo ones all actually have Osmo in the title. And I mentioned before that I was using the Vision one, so I'm going to slide down to, I've got Vision Legacy, I've got, the one I've been using is Vision Teal Legacy, so here we go. That's it. That's going to download from my iCloud drive. So open that one, that's downloading now, and here we go. So it allows me to store that in a folder. I'll type in city is an option. I'll keep that city picture, but I'm just gonna type in Osmo. Thank you, autocorrect. So it does that, and then I'm all ready to go. That has now, let's see, I choose Osmo right there. That's applied to that footage. I can again adjust the intensity of it to see how I feel about that. I can hit apply to all. I'm going to, because all of these shots are from the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And now I can just zip through and see what I think about the color. So there we go. Some of these still need a little bit of color correction there. It's not all absolutely perfect off the bat. So I might need to go in and then just make a couple of adjustments to make that really look the way I want it to. Okay, so once I've got that LUT applied, if I want to make any adjustments, so this one with Amy here, who was listening to the audiobook recording from her book in studio here in this shot, is very exciting. If I hit the filter button right there, as well as selecting the Vision Osmo LUT here, what I can do is hit adjust, and then I can bring the exposure up just a little bit there, obviously to account for the fact I didn't do quite well enough in the studio that day with her, so bring the exposure up there. If I want to start getting really specific, I can adjust the temperature here. There we go, bring that just slightly back there, and because the color temperature, I didn't do a white balance obviously on the day, was maybe ever so slightly off. I'm going to bring the highlights, let's see, should I bring the highlights down? No, I don't think I need to. Do I need to bring the shadows up? Maybe just a touch. And whenever I'm happy with that, I can hit apply to all or tick. I'm just going to hit tick because I just want to apply that to this clip. Here's the other one of me sitting here, obviously very different lighting conditions. And likewise, I can hit that. I've still got the Vision LUT applied. I can hit the adjust button and then just make some slight adjustments to this. So I think I'm going to bring the vibrance up ever so slightly there. The color temperature is, oh, there we go. I like it to be a little bit warmer than normal, but even so, with this LUT on it, it was applying a little bit too much orange and not enough teal to that, so I'm going to bring that back a bit. Skin tones look a bit more realistic there now. I'm going to bring the vibrance up a little bit more, just to boost everything that's not a skin tone. That's what vibrance does versus saturation, by the way. So look, these LUTs aren't a be-all and end-all for everything. You do still need to do a little bit of tweaking, but it's that simple. If I wanted to export this as a movie, which is absolutely bizarre because it's just the intro to an event right here, then it's a shot of Amy really appreciating the job that the fantastic voiceover artist Alexandra is doing right there. I really like the color in that shot, actually. That looks really good. She looks awesome there, I think. And then there's me just sitting at this desk 10 minutes ago before I recorded this. Just to have another test shot to give you another completely different example. Which LUT you use is going to depend on personal preference. There's all sorts of different ones for the Osmo Pocket 3, and actually I can import more of those and show you the difference from that same collection. If I take this footage of Amy, because I really love it, and I hit the add button again, and I go back to my file app, I'll just type in Osmo again, which was my search term. Let's see. So here's Eastman Legacy. Eastman is, it's referring to Kodak Eastman film, which was used in a lot of cinema cameras back in the day. And so apply that, I'll add that to my little Osmo collection there. And let's see, it's still on Vision. Select Eastman now. Ooh, and it gives this footage the nice blue tint there. I actually really dig that. It takes a second for your eyes to adjust, and look, at first it's... And I really dig that as well. That's an awesome... It looks like the shadows, the darker parts of the image have got this sort of blue to them, but it's still retaining a lot of the warmth. And obviously, look, that was a very warm shot. Let me apply that to all, and we can see how the other clips look with that one. Oh no, I look way too blue in that. But I guess bear in mind, I also did make some adjustments there, so I do need to go and cater for those again too. I think I actually made it bluer, didn't I? Yeah, the color temperature turned down there. So if I bring that back to 0, there we go, the Eastman actually, let's play that and see how I look. That's interesting. I think I need to bring the highlights down with this one on a little bit, which interestingly enough, I didn't do before. I turned the exposure up too, didn't I? There we go. Got to be careful when I'm applying this to all, so I'll just hit tick to apply that just to that one. I really dig Eastman, but I think I do prefer the Vision Teal. So I'm going to go back to Vision Teal right there. And oh my gosh, I love that look. It's so, so good. I really like this footage. I really like that look. So I'm going to leave it there. The end of the clip, I went to The Bag, which also has the name of her book on it, A Kiss of Hammer and Flame. Definitely worth checking out. It should be available really in all good bookstores or on their websites at least by the time this video is live. That's as simple as it is. In DaVinci Resolve, in Final Cut Pro, in Adobe Premiere, there aren't very many more steps to applying these. It is incredibly easy to actually apply a LUT. The difficulty is, I think, the hardest bit is making a really tasteful decision about what looks right for your particular footage and then making any tweaks. That's the most difficult bit, but you can see it was like done in a matter of moments there. And then I can hit the export button right here, export it to a different type of file, do whatever I need to do. That is applying LUTs on your mobile phone. And again, I was using DJI Osmo Pocket 3 footage there with D-Log M, their log profile. You can do this with anything that does Apple log, anything that does whatever they call the log profile on Android phones. I don't use one. I don't know. The other thing that's worth noting is one of the reasons this VN is so great is because you can get it as a mobile app and get all this cool functionality on your phone. But then they've got a desktop app you can sort of upgrade to and get even more functionality once you're ready and once you feel a little bit more confident. And these sort of apps, what I tend to find is they're very powerful nowadays. They have lots of really cool effects, but they're almost like the gateway drug, if you will, for professional video editing apps. So that's a really basic rundown of how to apply LUTs and get these custom looks that people talk about the whole time in YouTube videos on your phone. There are as many LUTs as there are creators out there making them, different cameras, all sorts of other factors come into play. And there's some quite advanced stuff you can start doing in places like DaVinci Resolve with color. There's programs that allow you to match one camera to another, all sorts of things. You'll have noticed in some of my footage there, the Sony a7 IV, my full frame camera, doesn't always match the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 very well, even with the same LUT from the same person applied. That's just because the color science is really different. The auto white balancing works slightly differently, even though they're under the same lighting conditions. There's all sorts of factors that can contribute to that. For this sort of video, I don't spend hours and hours and hours trying to color match. I really like that over-the-shoulder shot I had of myself, but I didn't want to spend ages or reshooting things and color matching, that sort of thing. I think you get the basic idea, and I thought it was cool to actually show you the slight differences that you get and why it can be useful to shoot on the same brand of camera as well. But look, that's doing it on the phone with the VN app. That was just the best one I found that allows you to apply LUTs without having to pay a subscription or anything like that. That is as of now, it's June 2025. Things can always change with these apps. If they start charging for it, kind of like CapCut did, I believe, another competitor will pop up and allow you to do that. And they've got a desktop app too, which is really, really cool as well. Last thing to say then, as well as I've mentioned it a few times, but Amy's book, A Kiss of Hammer and Flame, is out in bookshops on July the 3rd. You can still pre-order that. It is a huge help for authors, particularly debut authors, if you do pre-order their books. So if it is around July or June 2025, right now for you watching this, please do consider doing that. If you're a fan of fantasy and romantasy, all those sorts of genres, that, or if you just want to support me and support an author, then that would be absolutely incredible. It's a really cool book. That is not necessarily always my genre. I know I'm biased, but I loved it. Anyway, look, I hope that gets you the best colors for your videos, the color that you want on your specific videos using the LUTs that you'd like to use. Take care of yourselves, have fun, sign up for newsletters and all that other fun stuff down below. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful for you.
Cara raised her head, sweat beading along her hairline after the grueling trek. her face and leather streaked with the dust of centuries past. She touched one of the door's handles, the coiled ring icy against her skin, and stilled. Slowly, Kara brought an ear, then an eye, to where the doors met, not knowing